Yu Yu Hakusho was an anime that I really loved when I first watched it, but I wasn't as good of an analyst back then. Now that Jump put the entire manga online, I can finally read the manga and see if the story still holds up to my current standards. Yusuke as a character is the first thing that stands out. In just chapter 1, he's such a complex, nuanced character. On the surface, he's a delinquent who's rude, picks fights, and breaks the rules, but we can sort of see why he got that way. He lives in a single-parent household with his mom in a broken-down home. He has no father, and his mother seemingly doesn't work or care that much about his life. At school, he has 3 people always bothering him: Keiko, Mr. Iwamoto, and Mr. Takenaka. Iwamoto actually dislikes Yusuke, while the other 2 want what's best for him, but the way they go about it comes off as pestering. Kuwabara also picks a fight with him out of respect, but Yusuke doesn't know his motivations yet. This all leads Yusuke to turn out the way he is. His smoking and fighting are both self-destructive behaviors as well. His mom smokes too, which is potentially where he got it from. All of this makes an irredeemable kid, except for one moment, and that's when he plays with the kid and saves him out of pure altruism. He had no obligation to entertain him and rescue him, but he did anyway, showing that there's something redeemable deep down. All of this makes the story so well written and entertaining despite no high energy, superpowered action. The story's ability to be entertaining without any spectacle shows the potential in Togashi's writing. Whether this was fully brought out or not remains to be seen. Yusuke actually rejects the chance to be revived and decides to stay as a ghost, believing that no one will miss him. But the mournful reactions of his mother, Keiko, Kuwabara, Takenaka, and the little boy, which are all characters he met in this chapter, make him see that people miss him. This reversal of people who annoyed him actually caring about him was so powerful. This moves Yusuke to decide to take the test to come back to life. This is easily one of the best first chapters I've read, especially on an emotional level. Chapter 2 has some more good character work. Keiko is depressed and even regrets hyperbolically telling Yusuke to die. A flashback shows the strong emotional connection between him and her. In chapter 3, Yusuke and Keiko start mending their relationship in the present. I'm not really focusing on the plot because it's the least interesting part. Yusuke has to keep an egg on him, and what comes out will be based on what kind of energy he gives out. Basically, Yusuke is forced to be a good person. He also had to possess Kuwabara to tell Keiko not to burn his body. In chapter 4, Yusuke chooses to help a kid get over the grief of his dog dying. In chapter 5, Yusuke helps a dead girl get over the grief of not being able to meet her boyfriend by partying with her. In chapter 6, Yusuke helps a tanuki reunite with an old man to make his passing easier. A common trend in these chapters is Yusuke wanting to beat up the bullies of the victim. However, a lot of the time, he still acts like a troublemaker. This shows that his surface is different from his core, and his core shows up when he has an important choice to make. As Cinema Sticks said about Iron Man, Yusuke's characterization is at odds with his true character. The dichotomy between true character and characterization is what makes him captivating. Cinema Sticks also says that not resolving this conflict too early allows the character to remain interesting as they go through their arc. I believe Yusuke is the same. He acts like a punk up until the end. In chapter 7, Kuwabara has to not fight anyone and get a 50 on a test for a week. Yusuke helps him out by scaring away some thugs and stopping him from punching the teacher after he changed his score. Takenaka steps in to check another teacher. Kuwabara raising his grades after studying is a setup for the payoff of him going to college towards the end. The anime did this better because it actually showed the scenes where Kuwabara let himself get beaten up for the sake of his friend's job. Those were powerful and moving scenes. In chapter 8, Yusuke temporarily returns to his body. In 9, Keiko gets captured and Yusuke saves her. In 10, Yusuke saves the boy whose dog died from a ghost girl. In 11 and 12, Yusuke saves some girls from a curse. In 13 and 14, Keiko's love for Yusuke is tested. In 14, Kuwabara's sister is introduced and shows off her spiritual awareness, which foreshadows Kuwabara's spiritual awareness. In 15 and 16, Yusuke's last mission is to help some kid named Matsu win a fight. Yusuke is revived in 17 and helps Kuwabara in 18. This is when he becomes the spirit detective. I would say that the theme for most of these side quests is based on Yusuke's character arc. You can become a better person. The first chapter was really good, but the rest was pretty whelming. There was nothing as impressive, except for episode 3 in the anime, which adapts chapter 7. The anime cut some of this content and I can see why, but all these extra mini arcs make Yusuke's revival feel more earned due to the amount of good deeds he did. The whole idea of a ghost character and his female sidekick dealing with other ghosts and grief is very reminiscent of Bleach's first arc. Except if I'm being blunt, Bleach did it much better. It managed to blend all of its mini arcs into its action and world building. It also introduced linchpin characters like Orihime, Chad, and Uryu during this time, and had spectacles and fights. It also executed more themes. Ultimately, I think the anime made the right move by cutting the fat because none of this content is emotionally moving and isn't representative of what Yu Yu Hakusho mostly is. Yu Yu Hakusho is mostly action, so the anime getting to the action faster makes sense. That'd be like if Naruto kept doing the goofy stories from chapters 2 and 3 for a whole volume. There's also the issue of art quality. Before starting the script, I briefly looked at Yu Yu's art in chapter 100 and at the end of the manga. Looking at the start, middle, and end, I can safely say that this manga never had great art. The art has always been passable at best, and it only gets worse when Togashi's health starts deteriorating. It doesn't look messy like current One Piece, but it lacks kinetic energy and anatomical grace. I saw Toguro in a later panel, and his face just looked wrong, especially compared to the anime. Some character designs are inconsistent, kinda like JJK right now. As of this point in the story, Yu Yu Hakusho is just okay. It hasn't gotten to the action part of the story yet. I personally think it gets good in the Saint Beast mini arc, which is still a while away. There's still the Spirit Detective section and Genkai's tournament. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and help me revolutionize the manga industry by buying my manga and spreading the word. All important links will be in the description.